Hi and welcome to your brother sewing machine, coincidentally called Brother. The SE425, really good machine, you're going to love it. This machine is computerized, so you can hook it up to a laptop with a USB cable, but that's later. If you want to, you can just turn it on and get right to sewing. Right now, this is the sewing setup. If you want to attach the embroidery unit, then you can do embroidery. Embroidery is where you put your material in a hoop, squish it together inside, and then attach it to the embroidery machine, and then you can do your own designs and things like that. However, for just sewing, it's perfect for just that. If you take this little compartment out, then you have a thinner profile, so you can put like a shirt sleeve or something that's circular to go around it, and you can sew around it. Also, by removing this little compartment, you can take the embroidery unit and you can slide it and click it in. And with the embroidery unit on, then you can attach the hoop you also have to have the embroidery foot on, but the sewing foot is on, so you cannot put the hoop in the machine when the sewing foot is on. But we're not going to do embroidery. I just wanted to show you that there's two options, and you do not yank this off. There's a lever right here. You got to squeeze it, and then you can pull. So for now, we're just going to stick to the sewing part of the Brother SE425. Yeah. You get this awesome pouch that has some nice beginner needles that are color coded, and the colors are explained in the manual. You have the cheapest possible made in China scissors, but they're there. You have the automatic button holder, which you could actually just put a button in this area and it would hold it, and then it would sew the corresponding hole depending on how big the button is. That's something you can read about and learn, because I've never used it. On the top of the machine is where you can put the spool, and you have to cap the spool with these caps. You get a small one, a big one. I think that's it. You can also get this material that can go around a spool so that the string doesn't go everywhere. I don't use it, but it's there if you need it. A cleaning brush, every once in a while you need to get in here and clean out any lint crap. Your mistake eraser, or called a seam ripper, which is very sharp right there, but you can go in and you can cut seams. That's why it has a cap, so you don't hurt yourself. Your little touch pen, and that's for the screen, so you can select stuff if you don't want to get too many oily fingerprints. I just use my finger. That's what I would do. Definitely don't want to lose this. This is what tightens the screw to tighten the needle, and what tightens the screw to remove the foot. You got a foot and a needle screw, so you'll need this bad boy. This is an eyelet punch. I forgot what it's for. Learn something. I'm not going to teach you everything. Here is a set of class HZ24, a dual needle. I've never used one, but supposedly you can do decorative stitches 2 at a time. But these are delicate, and you could probably break it if you screw it up. This is an extender. If you have a bigger spool that doesn't fit on top of the machine here, this can go somewhere. I don't know, in the back or something. I don't know. You'll figure it out. Okay, so when you switch to the embroidery machine, you want to use your embroidery foot, and it looks different. It's basically just this little sensor hole here that just kind of walks along the material. This is for quilting and also for using the embroidery portion of the machine. This takes the class 15 plastic bobbins. I got 2 extra ones for you. This is a special screwdriver for these two screws right here. Once in a while, you may have to remove this plate and get lint, or if you broke a needle and you want to get the needle out from inside. That's what this is only for removing this plate. That's a good thing to have. Oh, here's a small cap. Now, the foot that comes with the machine, there's a lever in the back that you push, and the foot just drops. And they're labeled, this one is labeled J, and J is just pretty much the basic foot for most of your first stitches that you're going to do. If you're going to do different stitches here on the side, the machine will tell you, hey, if you're going to do a fancy stitch, take off the J and use the N foot. So you have another foot. You have another specialty foot called R. I believe this is some sort of rollover foot for rolling hems, and I've never done those, so I don't. But they're really good for dresses and jeans or something. Maybe it's not the rolling hem, but you have different feet. You have a G, and then this I know for sure is the zipper foot because it has two sides actually, depending on if you're sewing on the left side of the zipper or the right side of the zipper. So that's kind of cool. So you have the zipper foot, and you have your, as long as you have your regular foot, you're good to go. And then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 extra feet, 5 extra feet. This is the M foot. And look in your manual, learn something. I don't know what the fuck the M foot does. I wanted to, just to make this look neat, I'm going to put this back on here. It's nice and neat. Okay, wind a bobbin. I recommend when you go start buying your awesome expensive supplies that you get bobbin thread. Bobbin thread, 100% polyester 60 weight. This is actually smaller, thinner thread. I don't know. It's made for bobbins, and instead of loading your bobbin and then running out and loading your bobbin, you can get a lot more, I think, out of this spool. So, what I learned the hard way on this machine is it likes the thread. See how the thread's coming off the top on this spool? I had a lot of issues. It wants the thread to be coming off the bottom. So from underneath, and now I can slide it on. Thread underneath the spool. Now, to make sure everything comes off the thread fine, you put the cap. You put the cap appropriate to the size of the spool. So if I were to put this cap on, that would be stupid because it's too small and you'll run into issues. This cap is pretty good because it covers, it's larger than the thread spool, and then it'll help any kind of tangling issues. If you look at the top of the machine or look at the manual, winding the bobbin is actually pretty easy. It says 1, 2, 2, 3. There's little numbers here. So 1 is underneath there. It just clicked. 2 is around this little thing back here. Now if I was going to thread the needle to start working, I would go straight down. But we're winding a bobbin, so we're going to come over here to this little guy and just wrap around it. This little finger here. Now that it's caught around this finger, it can go around this tension disc, see? And now it's caught in this tension disc, and that's going to give you a proper amount of tension to wind the bobbin over here. Now the proper way to use these, to wind these plastic bobbins, there's a little hole. Should be recording. Yeah. Okay. So there's a little hole. Oh, mother! Yeah, I'm gonna step on that later. You know I will. You know it. It's gonna be in my foot. Bobbin. Okay, so there's a little hole because what's nice is instead of trying to wrap the string around the bobbin, you just kind of go up this hole. You go in the middle of the bobbin and then up this hole. The little rabbit goes up the hole and looks for treasure. I don't know. Okay, anyway. So now it's through the hole, right? There we go. And now that it's threaded on top, you can go on this bobbin winder right there, and it clicked on. Now, if I were to hit the foot pedal or the start button, this wouldn't work because you have to push it. There's an arrow that says push it to the right, and now it's ready for bobbin winding. What I like to do is hold this loose thread up here on top. I'm going to hit this button, disconnect the foot controller. Okay, the screen is letting me know we can disconnect the foot controller. And now we can hit this arrow. I'm going to stop for a second because now that it started winding, I can cut this crazy extra. There we go. And now I can hit the go button again. There we go. It is now winding the bobbin. Look at that. That is amaze balls. There. That was fun. That will keep going until it's full, and I think it just motor just blocks up or something. So you're getting a lot more thread in your bobbin using bobbin thread than using regular thread. Okay, looks like it's slowed down, so we can stop. I thought it would cut it, but I guess it doesn't. Now you click that, lift that. Used to be a cutter. No? Alright. Let's use scissors. Okay, bam. Wound your bobbin. Okay, now that this is clicked over, we can go back to this thread and take it off of this disc. And now we're still in the first part, second part. The second part just comes, hard to tell. I think it just goes, okay. Goes straight down like this. And 3 has a little symbol here, a little U-turn. So we go up. And on top here, 4, there is a little metal thing in the center, and if you wrap around the other side of it, it's now hooked. We got it hooked. We go straight down. Now this is the fun part. Let me change the camera. Oh crap! I don't want to use bobbin thread on the top. You don't want to use bobbin thread on the top because it's too thin. You need a better thread. I'm going to use this nice blue thread because you can see it. Now unfortunately I want to put it on this way, but it's unraveling from the top. That's the mistake I made when I was doing embroidery, so it really needs to go this way. And then a nice big spool cap. And we go 1, 2, 3 is straight down. I'm holding this for a little tension up here on the spool. 4 comes up and over the middle hump of this thing in there. Now it's caught. 5. And this is where this machine is actually cooler than mine. One thing you've also is the foot has been disengaged. There is a lever down underneath here, and it raises the arm and lowers the arm. So if I put the foot and I lower this arm so that it grabs that top bar, grabs this top bar right there. That's all you have to do to attach the foot. It's got to be perfect. Right there. It clicked. Now if I lift the presser foot, it lifts the sewing foot as well. If I want to change the foot, there's a lever. See this little black thing? That's how I can change the foot. And that steel knob that's right under the J. It's right there. That's where what the thing grabs. So, right, see how it fits right in there. You could lift it and push it, but I just set it directly underneath and grab there's a lever back here and line it up until it gets in. And I got the foot. Now this is where this machine is f***ing awesome. After you thread it to 6, there's a number, there's a little latch right there. The thread can go behind. On my machine and every other machine, you would sit and take forever to thread that tiny hole or use the automatic threader, which does not work. Doesn't work. On this brother though, after you go into number 6, there's a 7 here and it's like a wedge. You wedge the thread right up there, and then there's a knob on the left side here. If I push this knob down and up, bam, just threaded the needle. Coolest thing ever. So you just take something to move the thread back now because it's threaded, and your needle is threaded. There you go. The bobbin, there's a little arrow over here. Now that thing popped up, it just comes off. This is the other bobbin. This is the one we just wound. But we'll use the one. There's still plenty on this one. You want it coming off the left side when you're holding it. See how you don't want it this way. This is the thread is coming off the right side. You want the thread coming off the left side. And there's diagrams in the manual and on the actual machine where you can hold the bobbin and you go underneath the first arrow, right around there. And here there's a knife inside this groove. There's a little knife, so when I pull this string, it just cuts that way. And now the underside is ready to go. The top side is ready to go. Take a piece of fabric, needle threaded, put your fabric in, lower your foot. The light turns green. If we were going to just hit the button, we're going to plug the foot back in. Now it's red, saying that it's all foot. And the first stitch is just your straight stitch. Your first stitch is the straight stitch, and it's a touch screen, so I can change stitches right here. I can change the stitches, and up here is the foot, and right now it says J, and we have the J foot in. All this does is tell you what foot you should have. It doesn't know what foot you put in there. It's just reminding you. If it said to put K or some other foot and you didn't change it, you could break a needle. So pay attention, because this one you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but then there's arrows over here. So if I toggle to the right, I get 5 more, 5 more, 5 more, 5 more. Now right away I hit this. That's not right. Trying to find something where the J. All these are still J feet. There we go. I hit this crazy stitch, which I don't even know what it is, and this stitch says to put the end foot on, so I would have to change feet. And then down here, this panel shows all the stitches that you have. You have a whole bunch. Here's your buttonhole stitches, and when you do that, it asks you to attach the buttonhole foot A so that it can make the proper button holes for buttons if you're going to make a shirt. And the last, these are actually stitches for putting the button on. That's what the M foot is. It says to use the M foot. That's when you're putting an actual buttonhole, and then that one is an N. I don't know what an SG foot is, or I don't know what this is. You have to read about this. That's cool. All right. So anyway, we'll go back to the first page, which is stitch number 1, which is J. So you have your guides on your plate, so you can see if you're going to make a seam. 3/8 of an inch up here is where you make your seam from the needle. 5/8 of an inch, 1 inch, and there's centimeters on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're going to use centimeters for seams. The needle is automatically lining up to the left side of this foot. But you can actually change, I believe, the position of the needle if you need it to be sewing on this side. I think you can change it. I don't know. Anyway, so we'll let it go where it's at right now. Boom. This arrow, the reason it's red is because if I hit the presser foot, it's going to say, I can't sew, you got to lower the foot. So now that I lower the foot, the arrow turns green. Now I press the presser foot. And the bobbin should be put in there correctly. And that is a pretty damn straight stitch. Now, the needle has ended in the fabric. So if you start pulling stuff around, you could break the needle. You can lift the presser foot, and it's good that the needle is in the fabric because we can now turn a corner and put the foot down, and the needle has kept the material in the stitch so that the stitch in the material so you can keep going. Whenever I let go, it's going to stop. And that is an option you can set in the menu, I believe, or by hitting there's a button for it. You can have the needle end in the up position, but if you're turning corners, doing a lot of sewing, I like it ending in the down position. Go ahead and change it to a zigzag stitch. Now, foot's going left and right. And it's turning a corner. You also have a speed. If you feel like it's sewing too fast and the material is too delicate, you can change the speed of your sewing. I'm not doing anything delicate right now, so I'll leave that there. Okay, also here, we made a stitch that's really, it's a zigzag stitch, but man, it was really, really thin. You can change the width, I believe, somewhere. Where do you do that? Here? There you go. You can change how wide the stitch goes and how long the stitch goes. I think, let's see what that does. Oh, it's W, so maybe that, yeah, that's the size. So this should be a bigger zigzag now. You also want to use the handle when you put a big number on a zigzag stitch, because if I were to start sewing and I pick such a big number that it's too big for the foot, the needle would go into the edge of the foot and break. So if I use the handle manually, I can just take a look and see that, no, we're good. And then when you're done, you can raise the needle here. Now the needle's up. And why bother cutting thread and doing all that? There is a thread cut button. Just cut. Bam. So now it cut this. I could just pull it out. It cut the bottom and it cut the top. Bam. And you can also see this is where I use the zigzag stitch, and then I thought, let's change the width, and it made it wider here. Okay?